um, defining what is values. So it came from the Latin word valere, meaning it is a strong and vigorous word. No? So according to Hukano, she said that the concepts which are used as points of reference or criteria for recognizing, expressing, evaluating social realities, environment in terms of desirability, importance, significance, worth, quality, merit, price, usefulness. Anything that uh, you have to say that the thing is important to you, that is called value. Anything that is useful, no? Anything that has price, anything that has a quality in your eyes, no? Anything that has worth in you personally, that is called values or value. And according to Edgar Brightman, he said that anything that actually that you like, no, anything that has price, anything that you desired most and enjoyed by anyone at the time, that is called value, or that thing has somehow has a value. The moment when that thing, for example, lost its price, you lost its desire already to have that one, you lost your enjoyment having that the thing, no? It is not actually uh, liked anymore by anyone. Of course, the value or the worth of that thing loses also, or it deteriorates. No? And according to Andres in 1989, it is the actual experience of enjoying a desired object or activity. Hence, the value is existing realization of desire. As I've said, anything that you wanted to have is something that you have put on the desire, no? Then that is a value. Now let's go to the standard values. Standard values are based on the individual likes, no? Individual preferences. No? We decide on things depending on some valid criteria that would provide credibility to pursue such action. It depends on the environment. It depends on how the people influence you to like that certain thing or that certain object. One is guided with his or own or commonly accepted norms in realizing a particular end. And its function to desire our way of looking at things towards a desirable result. We have a value system that we call in the Philippines, in the Filipino culture. No? And one of the important elements in Filipino culture is what we call the value system. Now, what composes this value system? Other elements are, well, this influence our value system based on basic personality of the person. This is somehow unique to each individual. We have the basic social unit, we have the politics, no? We have economics, we have technology and ecology. Now, Filipino values can be translated as we have buti or mabuti, or the desire that we have to do something good, or something desired of what uh, is good, no, or the things that we wanted to have as good as possible. We have pamantayan, or the standards, which enable us to organize our ideas and interpret our experiences within the context of commonly shared meaning of things, events, and actions. We have the worth or halaga, the importance or the evaluation or assessment. Ganda, or the beauty, or encompassing everything that is to be pursued. What is beautiful must be realized. So those four can be equal into Filipino values based on those four words that we have described. No? we can associate those buti or mabuti, pamantayan, halaga, worth, ganda into the Filipino values that we have today. No? Now, we have values according to Robin Williams. No? He tested the values. No? We can say that that value is a true value when, of course, first, this is extensive of the value. What is this extensive of the value? In the total activity of the system, no, what proportion of the population manifests the value? How many of the people in the community are applying this one? No, so it depends on the totality of the people uh, who are practicing this kind of value, no? The extensiveness of the value. And then after the application of the totality of the people, we have the so-called the duration of the value. How long or how persistent are those people who are applying those things or those value? Because when the value is implemented, it must be a in a long run. It should not last for only 1 month, but it will last uh, forever, or let's say uh, years and years, because it will be passed on to one generation to another. So that's how you test the value. And the third one is the intensity of which the value is sought or maintained, as shown through, of course, the people who are giving such efforts, people who are choosing what is right and wrong, verbal affirmation by reactions to threats to the value. So value is still maintained so that the duration and the longevity of the value is still preserved and remained. And then the prestige of the value carriers, who are the people uh, trying to um, trying to implement this kind of value system, who are the people who are the models of this value. Those are things that are very common yet very important, because the moment when the people are not the one, or the higher ups, no, the officials are not the one who are trying uh, to be the carriers of this value, well, it will lose its luster, no? It will lose its value, its worth, its usefulness. At the first place, uh, value is very important, but when the people, no, is not maintained, or the people is not maintaining those kinds of values and being neglected, eventually those kinds of values that we have, the Filipino values, the mabuti, the maganda, the pamantayan, no, the worth, no, those things will lost forever, no, because of those wrong people. Now we have the stages and development of the Filipino value formation. This is the time when we develop those kinds of values that we have, no, passed on by the people around us. We have this preconditional stage, which is the childhood stage. No? Everyone has experienced this already. This is the phase wherein the child comply with the values of those who assert power on them. No? We have the parents, we have the teachers in school, we have the nuns in the orphanage, the priests, no, in every Sunday, no, that we have in masses and Sunday schools, no? And then we have the youth stage, or the conventional stage. During the conventional stage, the adolescents identify with their peers, idols, teachers due to interpersonal communication. Sometimes this is the stage that we are finding what is right and wrong, no? So the values are all already mixed up already, and some of the values are neglected because there are a lot of factors that we encountered in here. Probably you will lost your values based on the peers in the environments that you have, no? You will be developing your own value system, which is influenced by maybe bad or good people around you. And then the post-conventional stage, which is what we call the adulthood, aging from 21 to 60 years old, the people internalize the values that they have embedded in the first two stages without fear. So in the adulthood stage or post-conventional stage, this is the application of all the things that you have gathered during the preconditional and the conventional stage, no? From the childhood to the youth, no? And during the adulthood, a lot of people are very strong in terms of their value system already. They some of them uh, cannot be educated anymore because according to some of them, no, according to them, they develop already those kinds of values that cannot be uh, well somehow changed, no? And we have the pamantayan system, no? The alternative approach to Filipino value system. According to Landao-Cano, pamantayan is the appropriate model for understanding the Filipino tradition value. This is called the standards system. The model rightfully answers the question, why do Filipinos behave the way they do? The answer is anonymous. Because they observe the same pamantayan for doing things. We have this chart, no, that we have in terms of the standards of our pamantayan. This is basically what we follow during our lifetime, and we have the in extrinsic, intrinsic, and the extrasensory. So those are the nature of our value. And then we have the function, and then the orientation, references, and the judgments. This is pre-made already because this is based on the experience of the people um, that was researched already. So for the extrinsic, this is the function of extrinsic. We have the cognitive or the evaluation. For the orientation of it, we have the kamalayan or the consciousness or the knowledge of the person. So for the reference of it, the person to person, the person to society, and then the judgment might be right or wrong. And then for the intrinsic, intrinsic will be in the attitude of the people. So still the function of it is the cognitive, but in expressive way because it's still in the attitude. We have the orientation of the kalooban or the subconscious or the inner feelings. No? Now the reference of it is the person to self because you will be talking to yourself in this. No? For the judgment, it will be good or bad. And then for the extrasensory, this is the diwa, no, or the soul. No? It will affect on the affective side or the spiritual side of the person. So the function of it is, well, of course, in the spirituality of the person. The orientation here is the faith or the pananampalataya of the person. Now, for the person or of the reference of the person, it must be supernatural, since you will be dealing with faith. No, you will be dealing with supernatural forces. Like in Christianity, we have God. No, but in the people who are not believing in God, they call it supernatural beings. No, and then for the judgment, it may be sacred or immoral. No, or profane and morality, or it might be a strong faith or a weak faith. So those are those natures encompasses the value system of the Filipinos individually, and we can say that for the intrinsic, that is the worth, no, for the intrinsic, that is the asal, and the psychic or extrasensory, that is the diwa. For you to not be confused, you must remember that we have only those three nature. We have the diwa, asal, and the worth or the halaga. Basically, those are the common things, no, or the Filipino values that we have, since we are in a Christian nation. But in other countries, these three things, or the Filipino standards or pamantayan in Filipino values, are not somehow applicable to them. Okay, so halaga represents the surface level of the pamantayan or the standard system, the function of the cognitive evaluate core of the system, or it's in the mind. For the asal, this is the behavior. It's primarily behavioral concept which refers to the intrinsic quality of the meaning of the action. And then the diwa, which is the affective side, this is targeting the spiritual core of the traditional values and the essence of the collective sentiments of the Filipino people. Okay, so we will end here as an introduction of the Filipino value system. We will be continuing our lesson next video, because I don't want to get all the datas that you have, no, and it might be used in the other subjects as well. So please visit the LMS. There are works to be answered, no, right away. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you learned something today.